Beach Boys. How you doing, Connor?
I'm,
Post stress test.
yeah, I know. I'm good. Stressed.
You stressed? You stressed?
I know. I think the stress test went well. I think I saw 2.5 million transactions. We had a 22 meg block. So everything Bitcoin cores said was impossible was proven wrong in one day. It's pretty exciting if you look at, maybe I'll just pull it up for everyone, but if you actually look at the transaction chart now, it makes Bitcoin Core look ridiculously pathetic. So if you want to see here, so this is the transactions. Looks like we had a spike not too long ago too, but yeah, I mean at one point in one block we had over 25,000 transactions. So Bitcoin Core looks like a little blip on the bottom. So it's pretty exciting stuff, and it shows that Bitcoin can scale to the globe. And
my favorite thing was the fees were just like baseline, you know.
Yep. Yeah, we should.
It's like on Core, you know, when blocks start getting almost full, the fees were just insane. And like now, we did, Bitcoin Cash did insanely more amount of transactions. Crazy.
Definitely, we should give a shout out to the team that did all that. I know Gabriel Cardona helped build some APIs, and there's a ton of people involved in the team that are synonymous and all that kind of stuff. So definitely thanks to them for all they did. And I'm sure that there's more stress tests to come. Other than that,
did you see the some people are concerned that like, oh, now that we did the stress test, now people are spamming the network. Like I knew this would happen. You see that stuff?
Yeah. Oh no!
Hey,
people are using Bitcoin.
Yeah. Hey, if people want to pay for it, it's not spam. So
yeah,
I'm fine with it.
Yep.
I mean, it just shows more and more every day. If people keep spamming our network, you know, we're scaling. So It is what it is.
Yep. And yeah, I saw the money button. People said that the stress test helped them learn some stuff. So they said they saw 2 double spends in the whole thing or something like that, which is like a 99.9999% success rate of non-double spends. So with over 25,000 transactions, I think that's pretty solid. But I'm curious to see where the double spends did come from. But yeah, they said they identified a few things that they can fix now, and I think they were supposed to release it yesterday, but now they're just going to soft release at some point later this week. And then obviously Ryan Charles is doing a media blitz right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
He's just dropping bombs and then just walking away. I love it. It's awesome.
I know he did. I would recommend everyone should watch the why Satoshi Nakamoto is a Bitcoin Cash maximalist, and he just talks about the reasons for maximalism. And he like destroys every cryptocurrency. It's like ETH shit, XRP shit. It kind of keeps going through them, which is awesome. So I recommend people check that out for sure.
Nice. So today we have a good one. So talking about, you know, the stress tests and high levels of transactions trying to go through, we actually got to talk to Alex Agut. I get that I'm saying that name right?
Sorry, Alex. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he works with HandCash, and they've partnered up with nChain too. And very interesting conversation that we had with him today, and it was enlightening from my perspective too, about seeing his perspective on trust, and because he's a relatively newcomer, he mentioned, to the space, and he mentioned that he was a libertarian at one point, but he wouldn't even consider himself a libertarian anymore just because he has his own views. And I think that's almost like fundamentalist libertarian is just having, you know, everyone having their own views and perspectives and things. And I never really thought about it from that perspective in terms of like a political party, you know. seems like everybody wants to be the same in the Libertarian Party, but yeah, he kind of wants to go with his own views, and
I think he seems to come at it from like a business realist perspective, which I would expect just about any CEO to do. But
right,
yeah.
right. I mean, that's ultimately what we need, and we've been mentioning it on the show too. It's time for Bitcoin to professionalize. Time's ticking, and we need that to happen soon. So, yeah, very exciting interview.
Yep. So we're looking forward to. I guess we'll just call out. Man, there's so much. We got to do another episode where we kind of talk about like projects and stuff, because I know there's a lot of projects that have come up since the last time we did that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in Bitcoin Cash land. So aside from HandCash, Pop, all that kind of stuff, we're looking forward to it. But for now, yeah, we enjoyed this talk with Alex, and we got into some of the news, but for the most part, just kind of thinking about. One thing I will mention, he keeps saying the new money. I really like that. I like the idea of branding this as new money and using that as a selling point that, like, no, your old money, like, just sucks compared to this one from a usability perspective, from a sound money perspective too. I like all that. So definitely like that branding perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And don't want to spoil the news, but I just want people to keep listening to the podcast, to make them keep listening to the end. But he did give us some future items that might be coming to HandCash. Very exciting stuff. So don't turn us off yet, even if our sound quality is terrible. Oh man, that's like our brand right there.
I think
we're getting better though. We're getting better.
Yeah. Someone said my peaks and valleys were still weak last time, so I think I got a little further away from the mic.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Need to work on that too. My consistency. So I think our technology is good now.
Yeah.
But we just need to like now work on our like skills speaking into it.
Yeah.
So sorry everyone.
Oh my god. I hope it's good. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, we'll cut into it.
All right.
Enjoy.
Yep. Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us, Alex. We have Alex from the HandCash team here. So we're kind of just going to jump into it. We have some questions we're going to ask you, but I think we're also curious to hear your opinions on certain things that since everyone's giving their opinion these days, so we want to hear yours as well.
Okay.
But I guess like the first thing we'll ask you is just generally like how did you get into Bitcoin and what made you interested in the whole space to begin with?
Yeah, well, I'm always curious about new technology, and I've always been an entrepreneur, and I'm almost 30 years old now, and I've been an entrepreneur almost since I was 18 or something. So I don't know. I always been curious about new business models and how to create new stuff that. Always try to do something different because it's what the market accepts. I don't like that concept of competing with, releasing something and hoping to have 1% market share. And I think that's delusional, and it's not how the market works. So I think it's better to try to differentiate yourself. And I say we because my partner Rafa, my business partner Rafa. He's our CTO. Last summer, we moved here to Madrid and we started investigating into Bitcoin and all that stuff because we know about the technology, but we weren't experts as such, and we just wanted to play a little bit with the technology and see if we could do something different with it. And it turns out that we had this realization that why do they call it electronic cash if it doesn't work like cash at all? It's more like a very complicated low-level program for programmers, like a bank account or something. And we wanted to change that.
And so you designed HandCash. So you just want to tell people, I imagine everyone knows what it is by now if they're listening to our show, but maybe in the future?
Yeah,
What is
if
HandCash?
someone doesn't know HandCash yet, it's a very easy to use wallet for Bitcoin Cash that has contactless payments, and currently is available on Play Store in Android. And this Friday we are going to release our private beta for iOS. Thankfully, was a very very rough road to get here. Well, we had more issues than we thought we would have, but it's getting there, and we are very happy about the result.
Great. Is there, just out of curiosity, like Apple, I know that a lot of people are kind of saying that it's a lot easier to build Bitcoin related apps on Android. What other issues is it with Apple? Because I know that getting listed on the App Store is one piece of it for a lot of Bitcoin related apps. But...
Yeah. For getting listed in the App Store, you have to be a business. So it's not that you can release an open source wallet or something that's not backed by a business, at least an organization or something. That's what I think is what happens there. And also, up to now, it was very difficult to program with Bitcoin Cash in iOS because there was no library with Swift, and Swift is the base language that iOS uses. And now these guys from Japan, Shun, Usami, and Aki, they're great developers and great guys. They started this version of Bitcoin Cash library that's called Bitcoin Kit, and it's very well written, it's very well structured, and it's very easy to work with. And that will allow many more businesses to integrate Bitcoin Cash into the Apple's ecosystem.
Awesome. That's good to know.
So you've worked a lot with nChain recently. Could you just maybe kind of explain what it's like to be working with Jimmy and Craig, and what that experience has been like?
Okay, first of all, I want to say that we had many offers on the table when we just announced HandCash, and we had some interviews. But there's something about what they are doing, but also something about Jimmy that Jimmy is not very as well known as Craig in this ecosystem, but he brings a lot to the table because he's a business guy, has been in Silicon Valley startups. And he has another approach to this, kind of like we did, that we are not Bitcoiners since 2010 or something. We are newcomers also as developers here. And he has that business institutional approach that we think it's needed for going to the next step with this. And so far it's been great. It's very easy to work with them. And also it's like, we expected that they would be giving us many more, how could I say, that they would affect more our roadmap or something, that, maybe they wanted us to do something specific and change our roadmap or something, but it didn't happen. They trust in our vision, and it's mainly because we think we share the same vision with nChain, and that's why we ultimately went with nChain, even if it was not about money. It was about we believe in what nChain is doing, and they're playing chess while the rest are playing checkers, and they're also most people are just focused on exchanges and hash rates and stuff, and it's not about that. It's not about that anymore. And if you want to go big and have a global scale approach, you need governments, you need lobbyists, you need these assholes that that can be tough negotiators. You need all that stuff, and nChain gets it. And we are very confident that this is the right way to expand Bitcoin to the next level.
So you guys released a payment processor called POP, right?
Yeah.
And so can you talk about maybe what that is and what your future plans are for that?
Yeah. Well, this was fun because we never intended this to be that big of a deal, and it turns out there's a lot of demand for this. So the idea came from John Goldberg, the guy that did the Pixel wallet. And we were talking with him, and he, as you may, or may, in case someone doesn't know, he has the Bitcoin Jeepney in Manila, and he wanted a system that could use NFC and was very fast, very very easy to deploy and all the stuff into all their buses, and it was safe. So it was an idea that we thought, okay, we might do this project because maybe in 3 or 4 days we can, it's like just taking some parts of HandCash and creating another app and adding payment requests, but using basically the same technology. But when we were working with this, we saw that we could reinvent how these checkout apps work, because we have this handle system. We can do that. That the app itself, it never has funds or something. It just like has a recycling wallet in the RAM memory. It's something so crazy that Rafa invented, that kind of rebounds with new private addresses each time for each payment. It takes them and signs the transaction and sends it away to your predefined handle. So we think it's very employee friendly also, because you cannot enter the settings or something and change things without the passcode, and there's no money there. So as a business owner, if you have like 6 or 7 waitresses and all the stuff, you don't have to worry about them selling money to other accounts or something that can happen with a regular wallet. And that's why we didn't implement request payments in HandCash, because we thought this could be a product of itself. And also, one thing that I wanted to point out is, excuse me. Oh yeah, and you asked me about future plans with Pop. We are going to do something that's really cool, that's never been done before with the tips. And this was an idea that we wanted to do as a business using credit cards and all that stuff, but we ultimately couldn't do it because of the fees were crazy for this kind of micropayment system that we wanted to do. So we just discovered that, well, now that we have Pop and we have HandCash, we can do this crazy tipping stuff. It's basically that as a business owner, you can add your employees to a list of employees inside Pop, and for each payment request, the customer can also add a tip from the same payment request. It was very easy, just one tap, and the tip will be will be split and sent directly to those employees' HandCash wallets. And that would be great because, I've worked as a waiter a while back, and my girlfriend also worked as a waitress, and there's always problems with the tips, and who's managing them, who's handling them, and who approaches the tipping pot and all the stuff. So I think this will be also cool, and it's one of those things that can demonstrate how flexible it is, how flexible this technology is, and how we can provide new ways of using money.
That's awesome.
Which is ultimately the point. It's demonstrating that this new money is way better in every aspect than the old one. Yeah. In every aspect.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's our goal.
Can I ask you real quick about the handles? Because I'm just first of all, the handles are really cool. I mean, it's 10 times easier to memorize a string, right, than an address. But what is the? I mean, I guess so. Going forward in the future, how do you see this maintained? Is it all kind of going to be like a you guys are going to own that kind of database and that system? And
we think at this point, we wanted to do, so many people get this wrong. Okay. From the start, we wanted to do this in the most decentralized way possible. Thing is that it wouldn't be such a great user experience because of many factors that once you start working on this, you notice, because it's, doing the handle system technologically is pretty simple. pretty simple. But the hard part that some people don't know when they are trying to do proposals for this kind of system to be decentralized and all that stuff is that it's how do you handle and manage when there's a fraudulent account, or how do you limit the creation of handles because this is another point. It has to be some kind of a limit, because we cannot just release a public API and people start abusing it and create like a million handles with the most common names or something, and just that would mess the system up. So to avoid that, we are also going to add phone verification soon. But you don't have to worry if you already have like 5 or 6 or 7 handles or something. We are going to do something about it, because we just don't want to mess with what you've been doing up to that point. So at some point we will add this phone verification, and also this will be cool because then you can link the handles to contact lists and to social media, and you can do very cool stuff with handles. And we think basically the handle system, what it is just a database that links a handle to a phone ID, okay, and has like a derivative key from your seed or something that's is pretty random, but it has to match or something. I'm not the CTO, so but the thing is that very, very few information, and never basically the handle system just allows for one wallet to talk to another, to ask for hey, I need to send you money, give me an address. So the other wallet is the one that generates a new address, but everything happens inside the phones. So any important delicate or something information never leaves the phone. So it's just a communication between wallets. It's the server basically does that. Even if the server went down or something, which is very difficult because we have some reciprocity and that stuff. But even if it went down, you could still use it as a regular wallet. I mean, HandCash doesn't send the transactions to our servers or something like some people think. And no, we also want to avoid that. It's cheaper for us, and Bitcoin Cash is so reliable, you can just tap into the network directly. So
perfect.
Wouldn't make sense.
That's awesome. I'm going to take this back to Pop, because we actually talked about something like Pop on our Zero Conf episode. And we basically were talking about how Zero Comp's a risk management type of approach where, you basically would just want to make sure that no fraudulent transactions are happening. And something like Pop kind of helps out with that. I think I already know the answer, but I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on Zero Conf, and if you think it needs to be supported more, or if you think Zero Conf's okay right now where we're at.
I think Zero Conf is a problem. The problem with Zero Conf is a perception problem. Technology-wise, it's very safe, and also because the network is very strong, and all the nodes have very strong connections. Well, not all of them, because once you start working with nodes, you realize some are assholes, and the minimum relay fee and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's another topic. But for the most part, it's super reliable to do Zero Conf, and also it's something that cannot happen by accident. That's something that people don't understand, and also some people think that Zero Conf means that it's never going to be confirmed, which is a wrong notion. It just says that you can guarantee with 99.9999999 whatever percent chance that transaction is going to be confirmed like any other transaction. So it's just checking the nodes in the first seconds of the transaction, and if the transaction is propagated correctly, there's no way. I mean, we don't have replaced by fee or any of this stuff that Bitcoin Core has that can mess this up. So So it's totally safe, and also you cannot do it by accident. And for example, one thing about statistics and mathematics that always amazes me is that people always remove the human factor. Let's say you have a 1% chance, even if you're a very good hacker or something. 1% chance is very optimistic to do a double spend in Bitcoin Cash. Okay, you need the kind of people that are able to pull this off. Can be like being generous 1 in a million or something. My CTO Rafa, he's one of the smartest person that I've ever met, and he's the best coder for sure that I've ever met. He has developed some crazy. He's very young. He has developed some crazy DNA sequencing stuff that now is like the best in sector or something like that, with machine learning and many stuff. He's very, very smart. He spent a whole weekend trying to double spend on Pop and on Bitcoin Cash, and it was impossible for him. So even if he can't, I mean, even if there's 0.3% of chance or something that this happens, I don't know. It's crazy. The mathematics go like 1 in a billion times, or 1 in a ton of transactions are going to maybe have a double spend. So another thing that people don't get with this is that we are entering a phase that where businesses are going to be the ones expanding Bitcoin Cash. We are beyond what the community can do. So we need businesses to start doing this. And, businesses can offer an insurance or some kind of protection in case my zero-conf system gets beaten. You will never notice. We just refund your coffee purchase or something, and that's okay. So zero-conf is still safe because businesses are going to be involved and have this insurance, and also because the network is so fast that it's so crazy to just try to pull this up in Bitcoin Cash. Maybe in other networks is easier, but in Bitcoin Cash it's almost impossible.
Well, I think, two things. Number one, everything you're saying is 10 times better than the credit card chargeback rate, right? So no matter what, it's better than credit cards would be the first part. But second of all, what you're talking about is interesting, because it does seem like, if you work with a lot of like engineers and technically minded people, it's kind of like, we have a problem. How do we solve it this one track way? And what you're saying, right, is all you're talking about. And I think Pop was the first like payment processor wallet to actually be like, okay, we're going to actually just scan the network, right, and alert you. And it's like, that's not necessarily sure, you had to technically do something to build that solution, but like you're saying, that's outside of that's in the business side of things, right?
This is in the business side. Yeah. That's in the business side. Definitely. Yeah. And there are many solutions that can be done in the business side that technically are very difficult. And, you don't have to decentralize everything. That's a weird notion that that people in this sector have. We consider ourselves newcomers to this sector, but some people are very paranoid about, we are not storing funds, and we are not storing keys. But for example, take the case of Coinbase. Okay. They have your money and all the stuff. I trust Coinbase to have my big pile of money, just kind of like a bank. Why? Well, they're a business, and they comply with all the regulations, and they are white knights in terms of regulations, and they're very open about everything they do, and they try to fight for their users in court. And I mean, why wouldn't you trust Coinbase? I think I would trust more Coinbase than one of these hardware wallets or something.
Yeah,
I would. I would.
I'm sure someone,
and I do. I don't have any hardware wallet.
No, yeah. I'm sure someone will find a clip of you saying that and attack you with it. But I think you're right there. So that's the way it is in this space. But maybe that's a good question, right? So as a newcomer, as a relative newcomer, what have you noticed? Like what is What has that experience been like with some of the people that have these entrenched ideas?
Okay, one thing that's, when people get used to something, so it's very difficult to make a change. So they've been like 10 years using QR codes and these weird addresses that nobody understands, and many standards of like the confirmations and all this stuff, things that that's a business killer. I mean, you cannot have that in any business that aims to go global or something. So that's just, you cannot start with that. We still have some support for, well, we have full support, and I would say we maybe have the best QR code system in in the business, because Rafa has worked with artificial intelligence and computer vision, all that stuff, and we have a very, very cool and very fast way of scanning QR codes. So, but we are still supporting this technology because we want to be compatible with the ecosystem. But our mission is to push these boundaries forward, and next year we are going to announce a few other standards that we want the whole ecosystem to implement, and of course they will be patented. And that means if you're using same network as we are doing, Bitcoin Cash, you are free to use them for your wallets, for whatever you use. But that's a way to protect us from every other shitcoin to start using it, because this is something that I don't really understand why people in this sector are so. Open source is great for some things, okay, but man, if you're competing into being the new money, or if you value your time, and I mean by valuing your time, if you're dedicating to study Bitcoin and developing things for Bitcoin and all that stuff, you want Bitcoin to win. I think there's no point in giving your weapons to your enemy. And why would you give the recipe to the handles or any other standard that we are going to release pretty soon? You can patent it, and you can release APIs for public usage of that technology, and it will be working perfectly fine for everybody. And I think that's the right approach to move to the next step.
Yeah, awesome.
It's funny that you say that about patents, because patents, I feel like, are a very controversial topic in this space. And Connor and I kind of the same belief. If one person isn't going to do it, someone else is probably going to do it.
That's the whole point. Even if you are so against the patents that you cannot even sleep at night, but if you don't patent your stuff, someone else will, and will block you from using it. So by not doing it, you're just eliminating your chances to be global money. So if that's the case, then this is just a hobby for you. And if it's just a hobby for you, well, don't talk about global stuff. Just try to use it with your friends and such, but don't, you can be in both sides at the same time. I mean, I have a kind of a mixed view with patents. I've also considered myself a libertarian before. Now I just don't consider myself anything. I just, I just try to have my own views on everything, and I understand why some people are against patents, and there's something, and I don't want to say that they're wrong or something, because maybe they're philosophically right, but we live in the real world, and you have to, wait what you can gain or you can lose with this. So if we are going to lose economic sovereignty because we don't like patents, I think it's a little misbalanced, and I think I'd rather have economic sovereignty. Also, patents are not going anywhere. Even if Bitcoin becomes the world money or something, patents are not going away.
there's a distinct lack of disconnect between reality and philosophy in the space too, for sure. That's definitely something I think a lot of people observe from the outside looking in. So, yeah. But
it's weird.
We
are getting used to this, but it was very difficult for us to justify, to try to justify the Google backups and all this new stuff that we are going to implement that nobody has thought before. And we thought that there were obvious things. The problem is that the focus was not there in usability; it was in security, and we think we can have both. And the problem is that many people are paranoid. But even if you have your backup encrypted in Google, there's no way a Google employee is going to hack your account and try to hack your wallet for $20, $50, $10. I don't know. It's a wallet. You're not supposed to have all your money there. That's what banks are for, or Coinbase, or hardware wallets, or any other secure way to storing big amounts of funds. But it's a wallet. You're not supposed to have like $2 quadrillion there.
Sure.
So there's always, and that's also what we going back to the things that technology cannot solve. This is a human problem, and if the economics are not right for anybody to hack your account, they won't.
Yeah. Good points.
Very excited for the future. So talking about the future, upcoming November, we have this. have to question it. Obviously, you're probably on the SV side of this whole thing, and the potential split with Bitcoin ABC and what Bitmain's been doing recently. I was just wondering what your thoughts are, what you think might potentially happen, and if you have any outside perspectives from this whole dilemma.
Okay. First of all, what I want to say is that there's the only thing that I'm not liking about all this fork talk and all that stuff, beyond, even if we split or something, even if tomorrow someone, maybe Amari or maybe Craig or something goes out and says, okay, we are going to fork this and create a new coin. Even if that happens, what we have learned about this community is that there's a lot of creators and there's a lot of passionate people that don't deserve this treatment. I mean, for example, you may not like what Amari is proposing or Wormhole, or you may not like what anybody is doing, even ourselves, the handles themselves. But as a creator, you have to respect that creators want to always create new stuff and make the current stuff better. So I'm 100% sure that all of them just want the best for this. I've read these wormholes conspiracies and all that stuff, and I don't know. I don't have the evidence to think that's true. I think there's some circumstantial evidence of things that I've been told and that match with some of the stuff that's going on. But connecting the dots also maybe makes sense, but I'm not sure. So the only thing that I want is to ask for respect for all our creators, and even if they end up in the other side of the river, because I think this is also a problem that comes from the nature of creators. I consider a creator myself, along with my CTO Rafa. I think we love so much creating new stuff that we are never happy with how we are with our current state, and we always try to improve and improve and improve and improve. But one thing that you have to learn in business, and I'm talking about business, and this is the key here. I think the split here comes from a vision of people that understand that resources and time are limited, and creators. I think this is the real split. And not only creators, but people that have a more philosophical approach to this. That's not business like maybe Jihan or Roger or Amari or something. They not Roger because well, he also invested in Ripple or something. Maybe it's maximalist against the whatever works, and I consider myself a maximalist because I don't see any other formula that works. Proof of work is what makes the network be what it is, and I really don't want to work with any other thing. I'm totally opposed to going on point of proof of stake. I mean, Bitcoin works because of the incentive, not the code by itself. The code is very simple, and that's what we also like. It's very elegant, it's simple, it's robust, it's been working for 10 years. And, why change it now? I mean, if you want to change it, you're free to do it, okay? But if you want to go into a global scale, you need to protect your assets, your inventions. I mean, you cannot patent Bitcoin, obviously, but you can patent second layer things that may offer extra functionality without touching the protocol itself, that can make the protocol also more useful. And that way you're also restricting all other shitcoins, all the stuff to do the same. But okay, going back to the topic, SV, and what I know from nChain and their intentions, SV is the representation of business side implementation of Bitcoin. I would say this because it's a proven technology, and they don't want any more political stuff like it's happening now. They don't want this to happen every 6 months for every upgrade. And it's not a technological dispute. I know there are some differences between CTOR and all this crap, but ultimately, and block size. I also know that ABC, they would implement the 128 megabytes blocks in next May, regardless of SV or something. So it's not a technological split; it's a political split. It's a split to say, and it's not a split really. It's just like Craig would say, is pulling off a Rockefeller. So Craig is just going to start selling gasoline for 10 cents a gallon. And if you cannot keep up, you lose. You're gone. Orphan. So that's his approach, and that's the way to push the boundaries forward. He doesn't want or neither he or us or any of us want miners to ever collide. We want them to compete to offer the best prices, the best product. So we don't want an oligopoly. Also, when you have one, then an asshole like Craig comes with something called Bitcoin SV and cuts your prices and your fees, and they could have enough hash power to make it very profitable for people running SV. So I just don't see it why, if we all believe in Bitcoin, I just don't see why they wouldn't just go with SV too. Maybe it's because they believe in other things, but not Bitcoin, the original recipe. But then now this is okay. I don't want to get controversial, but they are starting to say now it seems like these people are trying to say that, okay, we never said that Bitcoin Cash was Bitcoin. We said that Bitcoin Cash is another thing. So, I've learned about a lot about perception when I was learning marketing and branding and all the stuff. And, the statements that all of them are using, very curious, they're very aligned. I don't know. Anyway, I think SV is what we want, and we are going to use it. And we want to welcome every other miner and every other creator to come to decide. if they believe in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If they want to do an Ethereum 2.0 or something, they're free to do it. But, it's not going to be a split. It's just that we are going to continue with Bitcoin. If someone wants to fork up with their own proof of stake or experiment or something, they're free to do it.
Sure. Do you know, I'm switching gears a little bit here, but I thought about it earlier. I know like one of the things that the Jeepney people were trying to solve, right, is they wanted the ability to use NFC cards, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys have looked at doing? Like, what are the technical challenges around doing that? And
there was a technical challenge by doing it with just an NFC playing card. I've seen a few projects trying to do this with a ring or something, but the problem is that they are putting the private keys in the actual card, and that's very dangerous, obviously, for many reasons. So we are now going to release a technology this fall that we have been calling it Magic Protocol, but it basically it with Nakasendo and Eddie and some other stuff from nChain and this stuff, we can sync your wallet with other stuff, and your wallet, your phone can act like server by itself. It's kind of complicated, but you could use your NFC card without having to add any extra technology, because the transaction will be validated in your phone. So it's kind of a complex system, and also with this technology you will be able to log in services, maybe for example Keyboard. You're going to be able to log in with your handle to many sites, and you will never have to deposit or withdraw ever again. They are just like synced to your wallet, and it's like magic. You just need money, it takes it from there. You can specify the limits, and you can spend, for example, don't spend more than $1 per day or something, and just works like magic. You don't have to deposit or withdraw, and that way we are also wanting to get rid of regular Bitcoin Cash addresses. We are going to still support them, but what we want is to be seamless. For example, you don't send money when you send money to PayPal or your bank account or something. You don't type for your bank account, yes, but it's a way simpler string of numbers. But we think we can get rid of all of that, and we are going to do a push for VR.
What do you mean?
We want to be money for VR, and we think that it's a good niche, and we've been inspired by this movie, Ready Player One. I don't know if you've seen it. I didn't read the book. I'm not one of those people that claim to have read the book and they didn't. I didn't read the book. But I really enjoyed the movie, and if you watch the movie, please go watch the movie. It's not a very good movie, but when you watch it in the theater, it is very spectacular and all the stuff. It's very fun, and also look at how the economic system they have in that world. It's an internet money that's everywhere, and they don't have to deposit or withdraw, and they can earn money playing games or in reality, and they can spend it in the virtual world or in reality. And it's just like a ubiquity money. It's ubiquitous, and we like that approach, and we are going to do something like that. We want this to be so streamlined that you won't even notice. Also, talking about, I can spoil the bean maybe. And we are going to do something cool with the Apple Watch.
Interesting.
And it doesn't have to, and it has nothing to do with NFC.
Really?
So it's going to be quite interesting. But we just hired a couple more developers, and our business is growing. Our first our first approach to for HandCash was not as big as we are now envisioning. So it's very cool, very cool.
Do you have like a long-term monetization model, or is it going to be like a percentage of transactions, or
No, we are definitely going to provide business to business services with these technologies. So that's the way we ensure that both big companies can implement meaningful use cases for Bitcoin Cash and have new business models. And that way we can also ensure that customers always have the lowest fee possible. And we don't want to charge extra fees. Maybe in pop, maybe, but we're still not. I mean, it's not worthy to now at the scale we are at. It's just not worthy to add any fee to anything, because fees are very low, and if you add a low fee when the transaction volume is not that big,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't bother my users for $100 a month or something.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
I'm interested in the Apple Watch stuff now. I won't make you elaborate on it, but that is that's something that, because the Apple Watch is very simple, and just thinking about what could that be, I think that would be game changing. So
also, it's we are going to release some stuff that maybe small projects, but it's not that it's one of our goals, but it's something that we want to do. When we ask ourselves who we are, we envision ourselves kind of like the Tesla of money. And by this, I mean, we are not going to, we are going with this notion of new money. So, universal cash, new money. I don't know. We are doing kind of A/B testing with these terms, but we don't want to go back to the old money and mess with it. Also because they have a lot of regulations that you have to comply with if you are acting like a bank, or you are doing an exchange or something. So we don't want to get into that, because also it will be easier for us. But the other way is that you are more consistent with your message. Why would you be telling people that the new money is way better when you are still using the old one? Makes no sense. So as a business proposition, we see ourselves as Tesla in that regard. They're not doing hybrids.
Yeah.
They're pushing the barriers of this new kind of car. So what we want to do is exactly like Tesla did with the Model S. Is like you have to demonstrate to the public that this new kind of car is way better in every sense and has zero compromises. And that's our goal. And for do that, we need also to tackle and things like usability and all the stuff. We say, this was something that came up to my mind in when we were in Hong Kong with Roger Virarmani and Amari, and we were all on the same table, and they asked me about usability, and I just got my wallet, and I had my wallet. I mean the physical wallet, and I throw away a paper note, a banknote or bill or whatever. It's different in every country, and said, this is our benchmark for usability, because it has to be that as simple as like a paper with a number written on it. If it's more complex than that, or just tapping with a card or something, it won't work. And we are convinced that that's possible. We are not in that stage yet, obviously, but we are going to push the barriers and create new standards. And also, obviously, if we create new standards, we want we want everyone else to use them, because otherwise there wouldn't be standards. So that's kind of what how we see our approach to the market.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. HandCash is great. The handle system is great. I know it's even like yours.org is integrated the handle system. So I hope more people start doing that.
It was Josh Ellithorpe that shout out to him. He did the whole integration in one night. He was just like, I'm bored. I don't know what to do. I'm going to integrate handles in yours. And I said, okay, do it. and it works like a charm. Yeah, it's very easy to integrate just a basic API. And we are going to release more APIs, for example, for online commerce and all that stuff. Maybe some WordPress plugins and some easy basic stuff that can access your with your handle. You can get payment requests in your phone instead of having to scan QR codes on a website and all that stuff. So
sure.
We and also, well, I won't tell this, but no, let's keep it there.
We'll leave it mysterious. So, Alex, we thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you for inviting me. I love this podcast, and I listen to it every week. And
thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the future, and looking forward to November as well, and all the exciting stuff you guys have coming. So yeah, thanks for sharing all that with us.
Very excited about the iOS coming out this Friday too. So
we cannot even believe that the app is almost ready. It's just like we had so much trouble doing this development because also we didn't have the Bitcoin kit that we have now, so we had to do very crazy stuff to replicate what we had in Android, but we ultimately decided to make the insides of the wallet totally different to Android, so that way we can also learn. So this will be an NFT wallet instead of an SPV, and it will be interesting. It has its pros and it has its cons. We will see which one is better. So
I'm sure you're excited to have people to stop asking you about when it's coming. So
yeah, we just want to release it so people can stop asking. So at this point, it's just like, okay, shut up.
Awesome. Great. Well, Alex, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a nice day. Bye.